So who would have ever guessed at the last time that Lainey Hamilton was going to play for the Liberty, and her last action as a member of the New York Liberty was almost certainly chucking a shoe at somebody. Who would have ever guessed that the last thing that Betnijah Lainey Hamilton was ever going to do as a member of New York Liberty, where, by the way, she has been fantastic. She was fantastic. Like, she was arguably their best player before Stewie and Sloot and John Quell got there and they formed the Avengers. Like, she was arguably their best player, and a lot of people felt like she was their best player that 2022 season. And she was a starter when they won the title. She's just kind of washed. Not like so, I don't think it's so washed, but like, she was kind of washed. Absolutely kind of washed. But she hasn't seen the floor since this game. There was no suspension. They have not played her since. And like, they genuinely have benched her. Like, Chris DeMarco on Betnijah Hamilton not playing again. We have a lot of depth in this team, and roles change game to game. I'm really proud of this team the way we fought tonight. Problem with having so many good players, there's only so many minutes. It's just the depth we have. We have confidence in everybody, and showed tonight when we came through and pulled out the win. They started Beck Allen. Like, look, I got to be real here. I thought last year was a fluke bad year from Beck Allen. I did. I thought last year was a fluke bad year from Beck Allen in Chicago. I didn't want to judge somebody based on how they played in Chicago. I thought it was a fluke bad year. No, Beck Allen kind of sucks. Like, Beck Allen is barely a WNBA player. So, I'm like, I don't necessarily know what they're thinking. There's no basketball reason when to not play Betnijah Lainey Hamilton. Like, I genuinely just don't feel like there's a real basketball reason for this. They're obviously trying to trade her. There's no question about that. They are trying to trade her. But like, surely you've got a couple of weeks till the trade deadline. Surely there's a way of trading her. Like, the Indiana Fever are a team that will kind of need Betnijah Lainey Hamilton, because even a washed Betnijah Lainey Hamilton is a better player than Lexi Hull. I'm just trying to think like of teams that could want her. Dallas could, but like, she's on nearly a minimum. If you're Dallas, you'll have to give up like Alicia Clark and a first. And that's the thing, is like, I think overall, my guess is that Dallas is probably where she ends up, for the reasoning of they have 2 first-round picks this year. And I think that would be a really bad trade. I think it will be a really, 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 really bad trade if you're giving up a first-round pick. Like, if you look right now at the way contracts are in this league, and again, we don't really know who's coming up, but the standard is getting way better. Like, way, 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 way better in college ball. And players coming through, like the likes of an Addie Brown, Tessa Johnson, Risa Shea's sister. I'm just like looking through this draft class, and I'm like, obviously the top players are top players, but I'm talking about players that could be available at pick 12, which is going to be one of the Dallas Wings picks. I'm like, it's not great. So Toronto aren't going to trade for BLH because she's a 1-year rental. She becomes a UFA next year. She becomes a UFA, so she's not even a 1-year rental. She's a half a year rental. So you basically have to go to a team that thinks that they are a BLH away from winning a title. Which for me, you're looking at Vegas. Who don't have their pick this year, might give it away next year. You're looking at Vegas, you're looking at Indiana, and you're looking at Dallas. I think the 3 of those teams might think they're a BLH away from winning a title. They, for me, are the only 3 I can see. But also, if you are New York, you don't want to give up Betnijah Lainey Hamilton to Vegas, because if you give her up to Vegas, suddenly it's like, oh shit, we're competing with them for a title. So you have to weigh it up. It's like, do you take the player, or do you take the pick, or do you have Betnijah Lainey Hamilton sit there for the rest of the season doing nothing? And by the way, I'm pretty confident that's what the Chicago Sky are doing with Skylar Diggins. I think the only team that wants Skylar Diggins that would want Skylar Diggins is the Mystics, and they're not going to give her to Washington. So I think Skylar Diggins is just sitting out. I think it's a mutual thing. This is a DeWanna Bonner situation all over again with Skylar Diggins. I think it is an interesting one anyway. But the New York Liberty aren't going to buy her out either, because then she can go wherever she wants to go. It's just a weird situation. And right now, it seems like they don't want to trade her and they don't want to play her. And that she doesn't want to play. Let's be very, very clear. Even if she meant to throw the shoe to Jonquel Jones, she chucked the shoe towards a group of players. She clearly does not want to play. Like, unless Jonquel Jones caught that shoe. And even if, by the way, even if Jonquel Jones caught that shoe, she was getting ejected. You could not jump off the bench, run onto the floor, and throw a shoe towards a group of players. Even if it hit its intended target, she's still probably going and getting herself ejected in that game. So I'm just looking at it and I'm like, she clearly doesn't want to be there. The Liberty, I'm not going to say clearly don't want her, because I don't know. I don't want to speak for the New York Liberty franchise. But like, she's clearly better than Beck Allen. She's clearly better than like Hanju at different positions. She's better than like Raquel, as an overall player, than Raquel Carrera. Especially when Leo Phoebus is out. Like, she could have come in and been the she absolutely could have come in and been the replacement for Phoebus. Agree on any point you made. Surprise League isn't calling Sophie Race for pointing, or are they? League in general, no. People around the league, absolutely. But yeah, but with BLH, like, this is where she was supposed to be. She was supposed to be starting for this team. Like, Phoebus is gone. They are rotating. Maureen Johannes injured. They are rotating between Rebecca Gardner and Beck Allen. There is no world in which BLH should not be coming in and starting over Beck Allen. There is no world. But yeah, look, it's just a mad situation all around, and I feel kind of bad for BLH because she's just not playing. At the same time, she clearly doesn't want to be there. And a team that, doesn't want, like, when you don't want to be there, a lot of coaches are just like, you know what? You don't want to be here, we don't want to play you. So yeah, that's it, lads.